Crust Pizza. Classic pizzas from $15. Real ingredients, unforgettable flavours. Order now at crust.com.au. T's and C's apply. Turn up the volume, turn up the flavour. Wings, beers and sporting glory. Only at Wing House.
Welcome to Saturday League Kickoff.
Good morning, welcome to the Saturday League Kickoff. It's all brought to you thanks to Crust, real ingredients, unforgettable flavours, classic pizzas from $15. Welcome to our viewers on Fox League and our listeners across the SEN network and the SEN app. On the show today, we'll look at Friday night's games. We'll look ahead to the rest of the weekend's action. We'll chat to Greg Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great doesn't get that enough. He was on the call last night calling the game for Fox. But the big fella, Reni, he's here with me. How you going, brother?
Campy on debut.
Debut?
Debut, mate.
How you feeling, mate?
Very good. Happy to be here.
Mate, let us get into the opening tee shot, proudly presented by City Golf Club, where every great round begins. Because I just want to get straight into it. I want to get straight into the huge moment last night. Bit of a weird feeling. Obviously, the Roosters won, but I can't escape the feeling this was Alex Johnston's night. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, look, it was Alex's night. You know, to do it against the Roosters as well.
Oh.
You know, what is that, 57-year record?
That's not my thing, brother.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, it was fantastic, especially to do it against the Roosters. I was at the pre-game doing a little bit of street talk, and, you know, the South fans were confident he was going to get it. So, unfortunately, they didn't get the win, but what an achievement.
Just quietly, something that has gone a bit of a miss in this whole hype for it is like, it shows you how good of a try scorer he is that everyone was confident he was going to score 2 tries.
Yeah.
Like, you know how hard it is to score 2 tries?
You know, I wouldn't know. I didn't score many in my time. I think I scored about 100 in under fives, but to do it in first grade, what an outstanding achievement. And to do it in the first minute of the second half,
yeah,
like that long range try, it wasn't just in good ball on the end of good shape. There was work to be done. So
now we've actually got some audio of Alex talking about the try.
Yeah, I was talking to Wayne earlier. I didn't think I'd get over the moment that quick. I've already done about 1,000 interviews. I'm just trying to sink in, but it's not just, yeah. So I'm sure I'll get home and shower up and, you know, see what the boys are doing. And then after maybe a couple of beers, it might finally sink in. And it's a pretty special feeling. I know Wayne didn't want, obviously, the people to run on, but, you know, selfishly, it was a good moment for myself. And to be lifted up on, I think it was Campbell and someone else's shoulders, and just to see everyone there, it was a pretty amazing feeling. And yeah, I didn't expect to get it that quick after half time. So it was, if it was going to happen, either it should have been me getting the game-winning try or just after half time like that. I think that ended up being all right, yeah.
That's the latest from the sheds, thanks to Best Sheds, Australian sheds at the lowest prices. And I tell you what, the story, young kid in an NRL ad, with Greg Inglis, I think I recall, Alex Johnston gets into the NRL. You know, it's one thing to get into the NRL. And the thing with the winger's job, listen, I know we just hang out with footy players, Reni. I know we do. But there's a very specific part of a winger's job of high-pressure moments. You know, even if it is as simple as catch the ball and put it down, there still is hundreds of thousands of people watching. There still is millions of people's mood that can be shifted by this moment. To do that once, you can handle pressure pretty well. So 50 times, 100 times, 213 times, the most ever in the history of rugby league. It defies belief. You'd never thought that record would be broken, especially when you look at like people like Billy Slater, who's third, Tupou, he was fourth, I think, and still got 40 tries or something to catch up. Absolutely incredible moment. Let's talk about the moment that it all goes down.
Yep.
I like the fact, not that it's any different or any better or worse, but I did like the fact that it was the length of the fielder.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and in the first minute of the second half, and everyone was on the edge of their seats, and I think you got to give the Roosters fans some respect for appreciating what the Rabbitohs player has done. We know the history between the two clubs. We know how much they hate each other, and the first person to run on was a Roosters fan.
I loved that. I've seen some Roosters fans a bit like, you know, oh, come on, you're a Roosters fan. Why are you doing that? But that's what this moment was about. It transcended rugby league. It was about understanding this is a young man that is living the dream of every, you know, not every, but a lot of young men and women across the nation. And to just see something so special, for it to be a Roosters fan first across, he was on the front lines. Now, I don't know, Roosters not necessarily associated with front lines. They went to the front lines, and he was, I think it was a special moment. I really do. And again, I even think, look, obviously Robbo and the boys wanted to win. You know, if I had to be totally honest about the way the Roosters players felt about it, I think a lot of them deep down were like, because they get it. They're footy players too.
You saw at the end of the game when each and every single Roosters player, bench, even some of their staff at the Roosters went up to Alex Johnston to congratulate him. A young kid from La Perouse, a South Junior.
Ooh,
to break a record like that is outstanding. There was a kid there I bumped into from the UK. He's moved over here, and I said, "What are you doing here? Do you support the Roosters or Souths?" He said, "No, I'm just here to see AJ break the record."
That's sick. That's so
how
good.
big it is.
That's so good. So if you were there and you allegedly ran on the field, obviously we would never confirm or deny whether you were on the field or not. 1300 1170. 0457 736 736. Text us in, or 1300 01 1170. Now, in regards to the game, mate, let's talk about the game.
Yeah.
So that all happens, and it's very hard to get out of my mind that this isn't Alex Johnston's show. But the sub story of this is that they weren't perfect, the Roosters, but they were far more disciplined.
Yep.
Relatively more conservative. And if I have to be honest, I felt, although the Rabbitohs' key players might have had bigger individual moments where you're like, wow, how'd that just happen? I actually thought the key senior players for the Roosters held their head and cool much more. And that's actually what the difference was, is that they were much more willing to just get play after play after play and build pressure and then score points. I felt like the Rabbitohs' key players were looking for that big play far too often.
Yeah, look, I think if you look at the start of the game when Roosters kept South out maybe 4 or 5 sets, defensively, I thought, the Roosters are on. There was big talk all week around DCE and Sam Walker and their inability to control the game, to not being able to complete, to, discipline. They did play a far more conservative game. I think they completed, a lot higher, maybe around 76%. They get that up over 80%. With the team they have, they win each week. South, for mine, I think you're right. I think they did try and come up with the big plays too often. I'm still seeing a lot of clunkiness in their left attack. When you got 2 Ferraris outside you, like Fafita and Latrell, just give them early ball. But a great win from the Roosters, nonetheless.
Yeah, and that's with the Roosters, is that, like, less is more with the Roosters. I understand that it is the Roosters' way to be attacking and offload and be okay with. I think when you go back to their premiership years, they actually didn't have even close to the best completion rate for the year, average-wise. And so I understand Roosters footy is expansive to a degree. It is back yourself in, we'll back out a fence, the Bondi Wall. But I do think that, like, with this team they've currently got, if they just simplify things, run hard, tackle hard, build pressure, they've just got such a good team on paper that they almost, like, they don't need to force the moments. Like, if you just give Sam Walker good ball, field position for a couple of sets, yeah, okay, initially they might not be scored, but I feel like with Teddy, DCE, Robson when he comes back, and Sam Walker, they've got enough strike power to make something happen in good ball.
Yeah, less is more, Kempy, like they just got to their points, kicked to the corners, they won the ruck. Their play the ball speed far outweighed the Rabbitohs. They were able to march them down the field 40, 50 metres at will, kick to a corner and play that conservative style of play, get the plays on when they needed to. So, and that's a lesson for the Roosters, In round 1, they tried to, push the pass too much. It's been going on for 2 years where they're trying to play that expansive, classy, off-the-cuff kind of football. As soon as they just pull it back a little bit, just pull the reins in, understand the flow of the game, they're a hard team to beat.
Yeah, and I just think that they took the moments with far more calm and far more collected. As I said, I feel when you look at the Rabbitohs, and we'll get to them in a sec, it's all well and good to want to win desperately for your mate, but these guys are too seasoned to let that get the best of them. And I just think that too many times the pass was pushed, too many times they weren't willing to go, listen, the thing with this, with the edge that they've got on that left side with Fafita and Latrell and Alex Johnston, it's the next play that you score. And what I mean by that is like, it doesn't need to be the first time you pass Fafita the ball that you score.
Yeah.
It's the play after you pass Fafita that you score the try.
So he's creating chaos in the ruck, and then you go again, right? So when they scored that first try with AJ, they played from a wider field position, which gave the outside backs like Latrell more time. And then when they're playing from a near post, I don't want to break it down too much for the listeners, like a bit more footy talk. They just looked too flat and just running into each other's pockets. And once that starts to click, it's a dangerous attacking side.
Now, it was Angus Crichton's 200th game, so congratulations to the big fella. But in regards to some good performances for the Roosters, I actually thought compared to last week, Lindsay Collins was substantially better. Like last week, I was really concerned with Lindsay Collins. And look, he does have a tendency to do this where like you watch him one week and you go, what was that? And then the next week he comes out and plays like an Origin forward. He does it all the time in Origin. Sometimes you're like, should he get selected? Not in the start of his career, but towards the back end now. And then he comes out in Origin and he kills it. But I thought last week he ran for like 50 metres or something last week in 60 minutes. And for an Origin front rower, that's obviously not good enough. Came out this week, again, just straightened their attack up, kept it simple. I thought he was great. I thought Nwanga Nituase, he is a powerful athlete. Yeah. Wow.
Does he give you anxiety though? I heard.
Oh, yeah, every time.
It's like, just
what's
hold
happening?
the ball.
Yeah, oh, mate, I'm with you.
He said he has a lot more diamonds than rocks these days, but what an athlete, his footwork, his size, just his natural ability to read the game as well. But, and a huge but, no one going to need to ask, say, just hold the ball sometimes, mate. You don't have to come up with the highlight reel every week. Lindsay Collins, you're absolutely right. There was a period there just before Origin last year where I thought, maybe his time's up. Is he too big? Can he move laterally? And then last night he led from the front. There was one period where they got in a huddle and Teddy wasn't talking. It was Lindsay Collins. He was really rallying the troops, and he should. If you're an Origin player, he led from the front. You got a lot of young forwards in that pack that look up to him.
Absolutely. Now we have to speak about him, but Nafahu White.
Yep.
What I liked about that performance is like it was a good 8 out of 10 performance. He's had better ones, but what I liked is that it's one thing to have a big year, and when the big games in that big season come, you play well because there's all this momentum.
Yeah,
you just for some reason, you would experience. I experienced it for a very short time. For some reason, the ball's just bouncing for you. You're not doing it. So that first year, it's one thing. What I like about this is a big game came around in the second year where high expectations, and he's a target now for a lot of defenses. And he comes out and puts on a performance like that where runs for 175 metres, 78 post-contact, which is crazy, with only one tackle break, which is usually with the post-contact, it's, you got tackle breaks, line break. So anyway, I thought for a big game, being targeted the way he was, I thought he was outstanding as well. Look, I thought, it's weird. I'm going to sound like a bit of a hater here because I'm not giving them like they were a 10 out of 10. I still am yet to see the Sam Walker DCE click.
Yeah.
But they were much better.
Yeah. It's funny, you got two very similar players that like to move laterally. They're not genuine square kind of halves.
It's not like Cooper Cronk and Nathan Cleary.
No, they'll
totally
drift across field. Yeah. They'll look for their opportunities. They'll try and drop someone under, but a far bigger improvement from last week. I think DCE defensively was a huge target, even though he didn't make the right or the correct way. He wasn't putting big players down. He was getting up in their face. He was making contact. He was waiting for his inside and outside defenders to come in and help him. So it will click eventually.
Yep.
But they've still got a lot of work to do.
I thought defensively they were although there were still moments or whatever, and I think that's gonna if you expect these two halves to be the best defensive halves, it's just not gonna happen. It's just that's not their strength. But I agree with you, mate. Like although there were some misses here or there, I liked that they seemed to be working as a unit more, and that's probably the knock on DC is like sometimes he doesn't work as a unit. Sometimes it's very much like, how do I shut this play down by myself?
Yeah.
And then you just come with me.
Yeah.
I thought they worked, especially you look at the edge they're playing against. I thought they worked well as a unit.
Yeah. So DCE was probably the most annoying halfback for me to play against in terms of being a back row. He'd get up in my face.
Yep.
And he had perfect timing of knocking down my fend. I see that still where he tries to get out fast out of the line, so you go back towards the middle, but there was huge targets on his back and Sam Walker's back this week, and they were able to trust their inside, almost like a Tony Carroll with Darren Lockyer. Angus Crichton and I think Siwa Wong was the other back rower. They really scrambled well for their halves.
Well, Wong had 41 tackles on.
Well, there you go. Yeah. There you go. Can you do that every week?
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. It's a lot of tackles. I know I can't do that. Now, Teddy, I thought it was fitting for him to score that try. He was always hunting around the ruck there. He was always doing his best, and as he always does. So, listen, really good win for the Roosters. I think they should be stoked. Tupou, another guy that flies under the radar every single year, but he's actually, the 4th top try scorer. Isn't it crazy how the Roosters and the Rabbitohs have these top try scorers that they couldn't be more opposite in types of players too?
Yeah.
Johnston's a small, fast winger. Tupou's a big, rangy winger. So, look, great stuff from the Roosters. Exactly what they need to do. Now onto the Rabbitohs.
Yep.
We've actually got some Wayne Bennett audio from after the game.
Your emotions seeing a man that you've coached and respected for so long breaking Ken Irvine's record?
Well, I've said a fair bit about it. So,
It's happened now.
and I hate repeating myself, so that's... So, let's move on. Yeah. Well, I was at a press conference yesterday and we got asked 1,000 questions about him, which I answered. We all know how special he is, we all know how special he is, so...
What did it look like from the coach's box seeing that unfold?
No. What? The try or the...
All of it.
No, pretty disruptive.
I love how, Wayne, one of the smartest men in rugby league, all of a sudden, what do you mean? What when she says, when the reporter was like, what do you think about the moment or whatever? She's like, well, what moment? It's like, mate, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Even when they went back into the sheds, did you see his body language? Like, he was furious.
Yeah.
I mean, you think the fans are going to say, Wayne Bennett said don't run on the field, I'm not going to run on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, just to celebrate that one of your players has just scored the most tries in NRL or rugby league history. Like, just to be a little bit more jovial, a little bit more, happy for the kid.
I'd be interested to see. He may obviously he'd still hold the position of I didn't want anyone to run the field, but if they had a one, I wonder how the feelings would have been. I will say, look, that moment was bigger than just one person in rugby league. It was bigger than all of us in rugby league. It's something that, when we're all gone, it'll be talked about, and that's why I was a big proponent of. Obviously, I was sarcastically saying don't run on the field, but I wanted it to happen because images mean something. They mean something. They're a way to capture the moment. They're a way to push a certain experience or vibe and feeling of the moment. If he just scored the try, got up and celebrated with mates, it's just another picture that you see. And so I think it was the right thing to do by everyone. I love the fact that they ran on the field. It really it crystallizes the moment forever and ever. Every time you see that image, you're going to know what you're looking at. You're going to know. Whereas, as I said, if it was just him scoring, it's like, well, okay, which try was that Alex Johnston scored? So I think it was incredible. And I got to give the audience that did run on the field, they moved off pretty quick. Like, it was, when you consider how wrong that can go, I think everyone handled it relatively well.
Mate, they came from everywhere. He scored in the north corner. They came from the southern stand. They came from absolutely everywhere. I think people in the members jumping off the top tier down to run on the field. Those images, like you said, last forever. And it gave me shivers watching it.
Yeah.
Like some of the photos I've even seen online, it was incredible.
Yeah. I saw some Roosters members with their pinky up going, this is scandalous.
It's scandalous.
I am scandalised. How dare they?
Oh, too good.
Okay, now, in regards to the performance of some of the players, the Rabbitohs, Trell, Fafita, Cody Walker, you could isolate moments and go, wow, what a game.
Yep.
But some of the other moments, games on the line, and then Trell doesn't make touch, but then what happens a set later, he rips the ball out, so it's like this weird push and pull.
Yeah.
I got to say, Fafita on one of the tries, walking on the inside of Cam Murray. Now, granted, I understand Cam Murray still shouldn't have fell for the dummy, the DCE one.
Yep.
But DCE, Fafita, it's, mate...
Yes.
It is early in the game. This has been a problem for you for a very long time. We know you've got the highlights. We know you can win matches, and we know you can do things no one else can do.
Yep.
You just got to find a way. If he can just sort out that small part of his game, he'll be unstoppable.
He only played 4 games last year. To see him getting, he took a lot of carries. He's getting fitter each week, but they're the small non-negotiables in your game that you have to move. You have to be better in those situations. And it comes back to desire. The thing with Cody, right? Cody, don't give a penalty away by pushing another play. You did it in the trials. You're just giving the Roosters a leg up. Gets them down the field in good field position because you're upset that someone might have touched your hair. You know what I mean? I love Cody. Good friends with Cody, but just get that stuff out of your game.
Yeah, and I think even Cody would look back on that and just be like, oh.
But does he?
I think surely.
He did it in the trials.
But I think he's such a hothead and so passionate that sometimes he just can't help it. But I'm not excusing it.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, mate. It's just if you could just get rid of it. No, I just want to go back to Fafita really quickly.
Yep.
So a lot of people are going to look at this: 20 runs, 184 meters, 8 tackle breaks, 3 offloads. The stats don't actually show. Like, I know Fafita. How about this? Give me 18 runs, 150 meters, 1 offload, the best defensive cover in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I'll take less of the offloads in the tuck. Give me 2 less tackle breaks, 20 less meters, 2 less runs, 1 less offload, but give me some trail on the inside and give me good, solid defense.
Give me some effort. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. And even in attack, Kempy, we spoke just before we come online here. Hit inside the 3-man. Give the other halfback nightmares. Just don't worry about getting early ball and just taking those big carries. You know, that's something that the left edge needs to sort out. But defensively, fill the space. You know, you got to have trust, and competitions are won around your defense. And trust. You know, and if he's not going to move or show that lack of desire for that split second, it costs you games.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I think. Look, it's early in the season. The good thing is that when they do click, they are beast, absolute beast. And I think, you know, as well, with Fafita, as you said, he played 4 games last year in first grade. You know, hopefully he builds into it, and it's just about match fitness for him. But I guess the pressure will build is the idea of this has been your Achilles heel for quite a while. It's just these little areas that you need to sort out. Because, you know, as we saw, like statistically, he had a crazy game. 185 meters, 3 or 4 offloads, 8 tackle breaks. Outside of that, it's just mainly about getting in the grind for me. I just didn't think I thought the Rabbitohs at times were allowing the moment to make them try and go for the big play every single tackle. And I just feel going forward, you've got to earn the right for those big plays. And every time they were down in good ball for the Roosters, they were almost like, if we don't score in this set, it's a failure. Instead of going, what were they doing at the start of the game? It was repeat set. And I thought towards the back end of the game, instead of just going, let's just build pressure. They were truly looking for a try. And granted, I understand that comes from a perspective of we've got such weapons that we should try score every time we're down there. If they could just get rid of that mentality and go, listen, it's almost the reverse. We've got such weapons, we don't even need to try to make it happen. It'll just happen naturally.
Well, I mean, it reeked of desperation and pressure, right? But that's where Cody, as a halfback, needs to pull the team into line. Kem Murray, they had Jaden
Sullivan,
in the halves, inexperienced in the halves, but that comes from your leaders. It's like, look, we've got 8 minutes to go. We've got time. Let's build that pressure. Let's get down there into good ball and then get a repeat set. Everything looked panicked.
Okay, now on to the Warriors winning against the Raiders, 40-6. Now we'll do a little bit here, and then we're going to head to a break. We'll come back and we'll go deep dive into the Warriors v the Raiders. Now, I thought this game, especially the first half, was outstanding quality. I'll be honest, when the Raiders turned up the intensity a couple of notches, I thought, okay, here goes the Warriors. They're going to break. You know, they're very physical. They've gone with the Raiders so far. I was so impressed with this Warriors performance. They lost their number 6 early in the game. They lost Capewell before the kickoff. This was an outstanding performance. And I want to be clear, like, yes, the score says 40-6. If you actually watch this game, it was an outstanding first half of rugby league. And even the first 10 minutes of the second half, it was obviously the intercept that kind of changed the momentum from Latawa.
Yeah, look, outstanding game. And what worried me was, well, first of all, round 1, I didn't expect Warriors to put up that performance against the Roosters. But what I'm seeing is a very well-drilled, well-coached side. Defensively, it's similar to the Penrith system. They're turning up for each other. Their line speed, they're in the face. There is a little bit of history between these two clubs. So that first half was intense. Tanner Boyd is in career best form.
You mean Tanner Johns?
Tanner Johns.
Mate,
I think he's a bolter for Origin.
Mate, it was honestly unbelievable.
So good. And, you know, for Harris Tavita to go off and then Tui Picky comes in. You know, they didn't skip a beat. You know, you mentioned Capewell going off, and then you've got Hecker, the wrecker. Mate, that kid.
Wow.
How good is he?
And, like, he didn't do it against any forward pack. He did it against the Raiders forward pack.
Yeah.
Like, when the boys were coming across for that try where he bumped about 4 tackles, I'm going, okay, this is the Raiders forward pack coming across. So he's not going to be able to bump these boys. Yeah, how wrong was I? Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. The moment it's actually brought to you, our community legend is Leka Halasima this week. Gear up for the season with Struddies. Shop with Struddies because they're your buddies. Struddies.com.au, and you're probably wondering, like, wow, Dan, you look so hot right now. I know that's exactly what you're thinking. Well, that's because I'm wearing this shirt. So that's Struddies for you. That's Struddies. So he's our community local legend. Leka the Wrecker Halasima last night. Educated at Southern Cross campus in Auckland. He played his junior footy for Mangere East Hawks and Otahuhu. Dalian Rookie of the Year last year. Absolutely outstanding player. And we'll get into a deeper dive when we head back from a break, guys. So have your say. Call now 1300 01 1170 or give us a text 0457 736 736. And we're going to head to a break now, and we'll see you on the other side. Welcome to the Saturday League kickoff. Thanks to Crust Pizza. Real ingredients, unforgettable flavours. It's Reni and Denan here, whether you're listening on SEN 1170, SENQ, SEN Gold Coast, and simulcast live on Fox League right now. Let's get straight back into the Warriors-Raiders chat. As I said, I think that this is one of the better performances from the Warriors I've seen in a very long time. To consider that what's crazy about it as well is Harris Tavita, you could argue, especially with the form of Tanner Boyd, he's their third string half right now because right now Metcalf would come in at 6. Because I've actually always been a big believer, or it just feels better for me with Metcalf at 6. I think he's a 6. I know he was outstanding at 7 last year.
Yeah.
I actually think he suits a 6 more, and Tanner Boyd stylistically suits him more in regards to a traditional 7 and 6.
Yeah.
Anyway, that aside, so basically you've got at least one of your halves pairing is a reserve grader. Then you lose the other one, and you bring in Chance at 6, who not a noted 6 at all, but did a job. And then Tua Piki comes on and kills it. But we got some text here before we get deeper into it.
Yep.
Morning, fellas. Look, I understand not every team can play like Para, but I was disappointed South didn't go on with it last night. It was only the Roosters they were playing. Okay, a little sneaky dig there.
Yeah.
Watching from Tari. Shout out to Tari. You look like a knob, Kempy. Yeah, well, I'll take that. How good was seeing AJ breaking the record last night, and how good was seeing the crowd on the field? Reni played junior footy with my son, Anno, who we lost with cancer.
Yeah. Shout out to the Averys. Thank you for bringing in that text. I was just talking about Anthony recently. Yeah, great mate of mine who unfortunately passed away, and a great bloody footballer from Redfern. Yeah.
Okay, appreciate the text. Another text here, Alex Johnston. Try. Even as a long-time Chooks fan, I thought these scenes were pretty cool last night. East to win, baby. Okay, I like that. It's a bit of an olive branch there. Okay. Okay, good morning. Rugby League got its buddy moment last night. It was fantastic. The parallels are incredible. Both Indigenous, both quiet, and left their fields' actions define them. Magpie Swanee, yep, it was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Hi, Beak. Initially, I thought maybe people shouldn't run on, but when it happened, I thought it was an amazing moment in history. I loved it. Richard from Melbourne. As an ex-winger, let's soak up the moment. Wingers are the new kings. Andrew from Manly Weather. Sorry, mate, I was actually a fullback. Because I wanted fullback money.
Yeah.
If I'm coming back to footy, I'm a fullback.
I wish I was a
because
winger.
I'm not getting winger money. I want that milli, baby.
I'll take wing all day. Well, actually, I wouldn't. The wingers do far more.
Mate,
these days.
that's the thing. Even when I was playing, we still had to take all the terrible hit ups. Like
Rabbit set.
yeah, like
Go in and take the
but not
hardest
even then.
carry.
We always had to take the first or second carry, and the added negative about it is that forwards like yourself are like, this is my opportunity to absolutely
nail
unload
this
on this guy. So I don't want to hear none of this wingers hang out with footy players nonsense. We were tough, baby. I'm tough as anything. Gaz from Blacktown. Morning, boys. How impressive were the Warriors? They monstered the Raiders. No mean feat. Mate, you're absolutely correct. And we'll get back to the Warriors. Like, for them to do that against the Raiders pack, that's what's so impressive. And I want to drive home. And Reni, you would speak on this as well. this is going toe-to-toe for 10 minutes for the Warriors has never been a problem.
No.
They can go, any Warriors pack essentially that's ever played can go toe-to-toe with the best packs you've ever seen.
Correct.
But can you go toe-to-toe for 80? That's always been the question. Well, not always, but some seasons been the question with the Warriors.
Yeah.
Is that what you liked last night?
Like I said before, they're a very well-coached team in Webster. And then you bring Fisher Harris, who sets standards, right? And then, like you said, they go toe-to-toe for 80 minutes. Someone like Fish brings those standards, brings confidence within the forward pack, within the team, that these are the non-negotiables. I look at even Jackson Ford.
Where did that come from?
What-
Bro,
you
he's
know
like
what I
an
mean?
origin level forward at the moment.
Playing outstanding.
78 minutes.
78 minutes. Even like someone like Wade Egan last year, I thought he maybe ran the ball a little bit too much and just tried to be a little bit too creative out of 9. But they're just getting it right. And the biggest takeaway from me is how steely their defence is.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'm so impressed by them. And just with Jackson Ford, so 78 minutes last night in those conditions against, and also like, don't let the score fool you. That was a back and forth for about 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the Warriors, because they were so in the game, they were so fit.
Yeah.
That's what got the extra 40 points or extra 30 points towards the end there. So don't let it fool you. I'll tell you what, there was a moment, 14 minutes in the game, and I reckon the Raiders had a call. You know, sometimes you've got a call, it might be red set or something like that, and the set is purely everyone's going, everything you've got.
Yep.
60 seconds, everything. Every team's got it, and every team's, the name of the call is different. I reckon 14 minutes in, the Raiders called that, and I remember sitting there going, and I spoke about it earlier, that this is where the Warriors will fall off here because it's about the 14-minute mark. There's fatigue coming into the game. And the Warriors just responded to me. Their ability to respond and understand that right now that is happening.
Yeah.
Like, again, that's something that is being taught by Webster as well. I just want to go to Jackson Ford's stats because this guy had an absolute bell ringer of a game. Also, shout out to Roger Tuivasa. I think he's 150th Warriors game.
Yeah, well done.
Okay, so Jackson Ford, 1 try. What about that delicate Aaron Clark little tip on for the Jackson Ford try?
How good is he going?
Mate,
He
unbelievable.
got lock of the year last year.
Yeah, Dalian
right?
lock of the year.
All right, so he was always solid at the Titans, but then you put him into another system like the Warriors who play his style of footy. Like he's actually pulled it back a touch this year in 2 games, and he doesn't need to do it as much, but he's all class.
Yeah, yep.
They're just such a well balanced side.
Yep.
You know, you've got experience and you got youth that just does not care.
Yeah.
I don't care who Tupanang is.
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
care who, even Big Papa, like if he was playing.
Yep.
You don't scare me, Hudson Young.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
know,
Especially like you got Leck of the record on edge.
Yeah.
You've got these young boys, got Valmunga coming through. You got Laban coming through. So Jackson Ford, 154 metres from 16 runs, 57 post contact, 5 tackle breaks, a line break, 1 offload, 37 tackles, not a single error in those. And he played 76 minutes in the middle. The hey diddle diddle. What?
Mate, you would never get me playing that long. I played on the left edge, so it's generally the left edge is easier to play than the right edge because you do more work on the right edge. And
Yep.
But 76 minutes in the middle, your head's on a swivel. When I used to get caught in the middle, I was like, "Get me out of
It's
here."
a
That was
fucking
usually
thing.
because Willie Mason would try and take
Yep.
my spot out on the edge and have a rest.
Yeah, okay. the
But
big
like to
fella,
do
eh?
it in the middle, outstanding.
Now, we've actually got some audio from Ricky Stewart on his in the post-match press conference on his thoughts on the match.
When you're on, you're on, and when you're off, you're off. Andrew's done a good job with this team. They're a good football team. They showed that tonight. They played very smart in that last 20, 25 minutes. I think Tanner Boyd was probably the best player on the field. He controlled the game so well with his kicking game, and he was exceptional tonight. Webber's a good coach, and he's done a really good job.
There you go. That's Ricky Stewart in the post-match press conference. You know, he didn't seem as animated as Ricky has. And you know why I reckon that is? I reckon Ricky Stewart probably went, you know what? The Warriors are pretty bloody good. Like, they were just pretty bloody good. Now, granted, you're the minor premiers. You don't want to get pumped 40-6. And the second half from the Raiders, they didn't go with the Warriors in that extra gear, which is very disappointing, and something that the Raiders have actually been really good at in the past. I know there's that one Bulldogs game you could look at, but they've actually been quite good at going with teams. Now, but I genuinely think, yes, it's 40-6. I grant you that's not acceptable, never acceptable. If you're going to lose, it's got to be a tight game, all that stuff. But, like, I feel like there's a part of him going, mate, the Warriors were just outstanding.
I think I agree. It wasn't like there was like any sort of controversial calls or all these repeat sets. It's just the Warriors just blew them straight off the park.
Yeah.
Once that intercept happened, it was like, all right, that's the break we needed, and they just couldn't go with them.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Sticky isn't as animated in the post presser, because they just got outclassed by a team that was full of desire and want.
And I think there was usually the Raiders, because they're so physical, they get to a moment where they break the opposition.
Yeah.
And the Warriors are just like, we love this. This is what we love. This is we are so comfortable in this position. Yep. So just looking at the stats here, you would think that it was an absolute domination, but 55 to 45% possession. Yeah, okay, there's a bit of difference there, but outside of that, 78% completion rate, pretty good from the Raiders. You want to get up to about 85.
Yep.
You've got the Warriors at 86% completion. But for meters made, there was 300 more meters made run. They had about 30 more runs. Funnily enough, the Raiders actually had more line breaks, 4 line breaks to 3. Wow. The Warriors 44 tackle breaks to 29. And the average set distance was essentially the same. Play the ball speed. Funnily enough, Raiders actually had a faster average play the ball speed. Okay. On top of all that, this is a stat that I reckon if you said this about a Warriors team that had won, it would blow your mind 10 years ago. It was the Raiders that had 13 offloads compared to the Warriors 2.
Wow. Okay.
The Warriors used to be known for that. That was what offload, free flow footy.
This is the thing with the style of defence that comes from a Penrith system. Now it's at the Bulldogs, and you got it at the Warriors. It's all based around line speed. As long as you're making contact, everyone else, you're getting up in their face, you make contact, you're going to have missed tackles, you're going to have half breaks, but it's everyone around it that's picking up the slack.
Yeah.
So I'm not too surprised with those stats. I think it gives you false indication of where they are defensively. But their line speed is key for them, and they're able to scramble and help out their teammates who do make contact and then maybe fall off the tackle.
Yeah, it is interesting how the missed tackle stat doesn't necessarily mean your defence is bad.
Well, Bulldogs are known for having high missed tackles.
Yep.
But they were the best defensive side in the comp.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, some positives for the Raiders. I thought, especially in attack anyway, I thought Sasangi was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. He is just going strength for strength. I know Timoko came on late, and I think, did Sasangi move to an edge then, if I recall? Anyway, I know Timoko came on late, and I actually didn't mind the move from Ricky Stewart, bringing him on late. But I think Sasangi, it's crazy to think.
What's his position?
Oh, they've got so many edge back roles because their other good player was Noah Martin. I know he missed the tackle on Lecker, but how many players have done that? Mate, I just think they're so stacked for edge back rowers that why not stack your centers? Because
he's such a good center as well.
Gun. He's an absolute gun.
And I think you could identify that last year Canberra's right edge was their weak point, especially
massively.
With Tim McCaw in the centres.
Look at the Broncos game at the end. They just tore that edge apart.
Yeah, so bringing in Sasangi and putting him into that right edge. Tim McCaw with the ball, unbelievable. But when you had Tim McCaw and Savage next to each other, it was just like two guys that were so disconnected on different pages. You bring Sasangi in, who's just such a valuable utility player who can cover any position. It tightens up that right edge. Probably not last night, though.
Yeah, well, I will say Sasangi, 20 tackles, only 1 miss. I know missed tackles aren't everything, but in those conditions against a rampaging Warriors side, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Now, I know that there were a similar situation with Noah Martin where, he missed a couple of tackles here or there.
Yep.
But he made 51 tackles, Noah Martin, as a rookie. Just shows you how good the game plan from the Warriors were, that they were going to these guys that haven't had, just targeting rookies.
Yeah.
But I will say, he's such a unique edge back row. Not such a unique, there's some like him. He's a little bit...
It's his hair.
It's his hair, but he doesn't have 20 runs. But every run he has, there's nearly something happen.
Powerful.
Yeah, that run against Harris Tavita. Yeah. First of all, I want to say Harris Tavita, hope he's all good.
Yeah.
The bravery to put your head there like that, bro. The thing is this with Harris Tavita, everyone knows putting your head there like that, there's a good chance against a big body you're going out.
He's a great defender. He put a shot on someone last week. I can't even remember, but he's a known good defender. But that Noah Martin, he's like... Did he just grow up on milking cows?
It's weird, strong, eh? He's not
just
that
got
big.
He's just really dense bones and just got great hair and he looks like a problem.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, we're going to head to a break. Have your say. Call now 1300 01 1170. Text in 0457 736 736. We're going to be chatting to the great Greg Brandy Alexander very soon. Welcome back to the Saturday League kickoff. That's all brought to you by Crust Pizza. Classic pizzas from $15. Real ingredients, unforgettable flavours. Order now at crust.com.au. T's and C's apply. We are currently live on Fox League and SEN Radio. Our apparel partner today is Struddies. Gear up for the season with Struddies. Shop with Struddies because they're your buddies. Struddies.com.au. Okay, it's time for the New South Wales Rugby League QRL update. Thanks to Sumo Energy, local energy with real Aussie support. We got it just here. So it was the Warriors v the Raiders. Now, Khan Pereira, Jet Cleary scoring tries for the Warriors. Listen to this. Jet Cleary, 4 try assists and 6 conversions in the game. 4 try assists, 6. Now, really interesting about Jet Cleary is that initially when he went across there, they thought he was quite a ways away from first grade. And my understanding is his improvement has been, unbelievable.
How old is he?
I think he's about 20, 21.
Okay.
So he's not 17, 18. He's a little bit older. We'll get some confirmation on that age, but I think it's 2021. He's 20. And they reckon that his development has just been unbelievable. And so I will say, what a brilliant move from the Penrith, not from Penrith, from Ivan Cleary to go, listen, get you out of the Sydney bubble. Yeah. That last name is going to be so much pressure and weight on your shoulders. And going out there, and he sounds like he's doing absolutely outstanding.
Born over there, wasn't he? Ivan played for the Warriors.
Well, Nathan would have been born there. I don't know about Jet. I think maybe Jet was probably born back here by the time Ivan got back in Australia.
Not sure, but
reach out.
Well, he was born in Auckland, right?
Oh, there you go. They've
just got a plethora of halves coming. You got Tuapiki, you got Tanner Boyd, you got Metcalf, you got a Cleary.
And what's crazy as well is that's one area where the Warriors have always been light on in the halves. And so they're going really well. So Owen Paddy, he also scored for the Raiders. Now, New South Wales players in action on the weekend. We had the big fella, Bunty Afoa, starting a prop for the Magpies. Halangahu captains the Dragons side. Interesting that he's not in on the bench for the Dragons. Maybe he'll be the 20th man or whatever. Blore, Peel, and Vailepu all in for the Storm. Docker Clay, the hooker for Manly versus Knights, and Tom and Toby Rodwell for the Roosters. So that's your New South Wales Cup. Now, the Queensland players in action in Host Plus Cup. Zane Harrison, halfback for Tweed Seagulls. Derby named in reserves for Northern Pride. Ben Takura named on the bench for the Seagulls. Jesse Arthurs, Hayes Perham, Thomas Duffy, Preston Rickey, Blake Moser, all in action as the Magpies face the Bears. What are the Magpies? They're stacked, mate.
They're Maggies.
Okay. We've got the great man, Greg Alexander, Brandy, on the line. How you going, brother?
Denan, good to talk, mate. G'day, Reni.
G'day, Brandy.
Mate, thank you for joining us. First of all, I'd love to get your thoughts on the images, the scenes. Were you for, were you against it? Have you been swayed? What are your thoughts on the moment last night with Alex Johnston?
Denan, I was swayed. I was sort of in Wayne's camp. I thought, well, let's not stop the game for 20 minutes or half an hour. Let's celebrate Alex Johnston post-game. And I thought that would have been good enough. But, when the fans ran out there, I thought, oh, well, I'm a believer. It wouldn't. I don't think it would have been the same if the fans didn't run on the field. So it all worked out well. They got off the field pretty quickly. I think there was, little disruption, and it really made the moment.
So what you're telling me, mate, is that you didn't realise you're actually a romantic at heart. Like, you're a rugby league romantic.
I'm not as hard as I go on. I pretend to be a hard man, but very analytical but no, I am. I'm a romantic at heart, Denan.
Yeah. Brandy, do you think it changed the momentum for South? So if you score in the first minute of the second half and then have that 16, 17-minute break, do you think it did break that momentum?
I don't know, Reni. It's hard to, the scoreline would say yes.
Yep.
Wouldn't it? They levelled up. Latrell levelled up when he came back on the field to kick the goal, which must have been bizarre for Latrell to, have a sort of 20-minute break and then come out and your first order of duty is to kick a goal. So I I'm not sure how that played out, and it's hard to get into the South Sydney players' heads and know how that affected them. If you look at the scoreboard and what happened after that, you would say it probably did affect them. But you saw Wayne in there in the sheds in that break, obviously trying to refocus his team, but pretty hard. Like the joy, it wasn't manufactured. The joy from his South Sydney teammates. It was pure joy. You could Cameron Murray, Cameron was, he towed the company line when asked how should they celebrate, and Cameron, as the skipper, backed the coach and said, well, I don't think we should, the fabric of the game shouldn't be tinkered with. The fans should stay off the field. But I think if you ask every one of those South Sydney players now how they felt about it, they would be absolutely for the fans running on. And it's a very strange situation that the Bunnies found themselves in, and trying to refocus and reset. And the Roosters in the end just took advantage of some of the minor errors that South made in that final 30 minutes.
Mate, speaking of the Roosters, it's only been 2 rounds. Not great last week. Pretty good. I thought they were more clinical than the Rabbitohs in key moments last night. Where have you got the Roosters? Are you as high on them as a lot of people? Are you a wait and see? Where are you at?
I think they could challenge for a top 4 spot. Denan, I think they'll play finals footy for sure. Last week against the Warriors was a bit of a, I guess that would have maybe made some people rethink about what they thought, but it was round 1, and they completed 9 sets. When you're talking about ball control having a big impact on your performance, well, you can fix that. That's a fix. So they only got through 9 sets in the first half against the Warriors and trailed 22-6. Like that, the game was just about done at half time. They looked a little off in the halves, but I put that down to lack of footy, lack of pressure, lack of opportunities, just because they couldn't hang on to the ball. So I think we saw both Sam Walker and Daly Cherry-Evans much better defensively last night, but also, the balance of sharing possession between those two and James Tedesco, it looked like it worked a lot better. And they will improve that the more footy they play together. So it's a pretty star-studded lineup. Yeah. And I thought the wingers were great. Nwanga Nitawaze and Daniel Tupou were very good.
Brandy, you did say the halves were far better. They did get up in their face. I thought they were going to be a massive target last night, and they were, the halves of Sam Walker and DCE, but they were able to get up in South's face. The conversation I want to have around is Sam Walker. Like, as a coach, last week against the Warriors, he was very erratic. He was kicking on the first, tried to kick it on the second. How do you coach a player like that that's so instinctive? He did play a bit more conservative, but do you pull him back, or what sort of conversation would you have with someone like Sam Walker?
Yeah, not you wouldn't pull him back too much, but I'm sure and that was very noticeable because last week, Reni, they did get themselves back into the game at 28-18 when Angus Crichton scored. There was still 25 minutes to go, and they were only 10 down, and their ball control or the possession improved in the second half, so they had enough ball to get themselves, and it looked like a little bit of panic from the Roosters halves. And you mentioned the early, the kicks on in the early tackle, 1 and 2 in almost back-to-back sets where they turned over possession. I think, Sam would look back and think, well, if I do that, I need to execute better, or do I do it at all? But that's the only thing I would, you would just be saying to Sam, just be a little circumspect about when you try things. I wouldn't take it away from him. I think the short kicking game of Sam Walker is, I don't like the word freakish because it's thrown around a bit, but it is almost that. He's got an unbelievable knack of finding space. He didn't last week against the Warriors, and I think that really hurt them. But I wouldn't put a leash on Sam. No, he's too talented.
Mate, thank you so much for joining us, Brandy. We really do appreciate your time, and what a moment it was last night. And I tell you what, an exclusive to SEN, we found out Brandy is a romantic at heart. Love always wins. Love always wins.
Good on you, boys.
Thanks,
Brandy.
mate. Thank you. Have your say call now, 1300 01 1170. Text in 0457 736 736. Coming up, we'll look ahead at the rest of the weekend's games, including a sellout at Leichhardt. This is the Saturday League kickoff with Reni and Denan. Welcome back to the second hour of the Saturday League kickoff. Simulcast live on our Fox League and SEN Radio. All thanks to Crust Pizza, real ingredients, unforgettable flavours, large pizzas from $15. T's and C's apply. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. Have your say throughout the show. Call 1300 01 1170 or text 0457 736 736. First hour recap. Look back at the record-breaking night for Alex Johnston. The Warriors maul the Raiders in a huge second-half performance, and Greg Alexander to look back on the Roosters versus Rabbitohs. But we've got a caller here. It's Mark from Albion Park.
Yeah, hey, boys.
There you go, mate. What do you got for us?
I just wanted to say I was so proud of the fans that ran on the field last night, because I don't know if you're aware, in Scotland they had a big derby earlier in the week, and fans ran on with fellow clubbers and wanted to belt the crap out of each other. And in this country, you can have a derby between two rivals, and they celebrated one bloke's great achievement. So I thought it was a great moment for the country, to be honest.
Mate, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm totally with you. I think that I think the fact that you had fans from rival clubs over 100 years that, would be, bantering with each other and at times very, very at each other's throats. I mean, the first guy across the fence
was a rooster.
And I'm with you, mate. I think the rugby league, and also, I will say, the rugby league, it gets a bad rap in the media about being, it's very easy for the people in high society to turn their nose up at rugby league because it is a working man and woman's game. But look how well we handle ourselves.
I don't think Roosters supporters would know what a balaclava is. They'd have their handkerchiefs and scarves.
They steal your stuff just in different ways.
No, look, it was great for the game. And, to see those scenes, it still gives me shivers.
Yeah, and I think, obviously the Rabbitohs fans deserve a rap for as well. But I think the Roosters fans deserve a rap as well. Like, they were very graceful when it all happened. It's not just because they won the game. Even as it happened on social media, you could see a lot of Roosters fans. Yeah. They were just, showing appreciation and grace in the situation. So, mate, I think it's a great point. I think they deserve a lot of credit. We've got another call here. Phil from Penrith.
How you going?
Mate, how you going? What do you got for us?
Just a quick one. I know, like you said, the Warriors were good last night, but I mean, I sort of thought back into last year how Canberra went out, but this year you just wonder if they can get themselves up again like they did last year. The spine, they've still got the same team there, new halfback, but you just wondered, did they all play their best last year, and can they do it again this year? That's what I sort of wonder.
Yeah, look, listen, I'm a big believer in what Ricky's built down there. I think he's had enough time to build exactly the squad and the culture that he wants. I think really last night it was more just about discipline for the Raiders. I just think that the back end of the second half, they just allowed too many 6 against to creep into their game, too many penalties, and then they were chasing the game, so they were over-aggressive, and so it just didn't really work out. So, look, can they go back and win another minor premiership? Geez, that's a tough gig. It's a tough gig.
I think they can, and I think you got to take into account that they played at a wet brookie and then had to travel over to New Zealand, another wet track.
Yep.
It's tough on the body. You need that recovery. So I'm not too concerned. The score did blow out, but I definitely believe under Ricky Stewart they can back up their performance from last year. Maybe not get minor premiers, but they're definitely a top 4 side.
I think they definitely can make the top 4. I've got them, I think, about 6, but they can make the 4. Yep. I think it's a great point you make as well. Like, they lost it in the last 20 minutes. And what is that a sign of? It's fatigue. And what did they do last week? They had to play extra time, Golden Point, wet weather at Brookie desperate, Manly desperate for an early win because of where they're at right now. So I just reckon, I think it's a mixture of two things. Discipline and the Warriors were outstanding. Yeah. I really reckon the Warriors. I reckon if the Raiders do what they did in the first half to pretty much every other team except Storm, Penrith, and maybe one other team, they blow them off the park. There's not many teams that could have hung in there the way they did.
Raiders have had a habit over the last 3 years of either having a blowout score where they get beat or chasing a team down. They got to find that middle ground.
Yeah,
They did find it last year with being the minor premiers, but they still have that little bit of not DNA, but they tend to have these games every now and then.
I think it's because they're so used to bullying teams that when a team doesn't get bullied, they kind of almost like, oh, like, what do we do? Yeah. Like, what do we do here? So, whereas the Warriors, like, they weren't going to take a backward step. And also, they had the forward pack to stand up to the other aggressive forward pack. Whereas if the dog, I think the Bulldogs, I know it's a case of them not turning up in the second half. I think the Bulldogs are a perfect example last year. When they were fresh and could bully the Bulldogs and they were bigger and stronger, they put on this first half score.
Yep.
But because the Dogs are so fit, that we saw in the second half. So I think they're just so used to being able to going, okay, we go hard here for 10 minutes, we'll break them. And we'll be sweet. Anyway, let's get into some previews, guys. Looking at the games ahead. Raiders the Raiders versus Bulldogs is next week, so what a game. But it's Benji and West Tigers. They start the season at Leichhardt. It's a sold-out crowd. Sunrise local stores, we've got you covered. Need to refuel your car or your stomach? Find your closest Sunrise local store, newsunrise.com.au. And the Sunrise rising star for the Tigers that I cannot wait to see play. He's been named in the centres. It's Makasini. Thoughts, mate?
Off the Makasini Richter. When I'd never heard of the kid, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw him play against the Roosters in the trials and what he did to Talau. Now, Talau is a 3, 4, 5-year first grader.
Yeah, about 5 years.
And who is this kid?
Yeah.
Is that Critter with a little bit more footwork and just strength? And then that try he scored against last week.
Against the Panthers?
Against Penrith.
Oh, my God.
You know, to be, was that the trial?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yep.
To be able to bump off, he got rid of Cleary, bumped off a back row, Dylan Edwards. You know, that's a technique to be able to just use your body just as another sign of defense.
18.
18.
Bro, how you running like Lomo at 18?
I didn't have hair under my armpits.
What the hell? Man, I was playing World of Warcraft, rating Tier 5, most DPS.
I was playing Atari.
Mate, people don't even know what DPS means. Damage per second.
Okay.
And I in my guild, I had the most damage per second when we raided. Because when we killed monsters, there'd be a bar that would fill up, and it would be like pretty much...
You're showing your nerd in your Kempy.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just saying that's what I was doing. Makasini's been John Aloma. I was DPSing.
Yeah, DPSing. Mate, he's a freak. You got to sign him up like long term.
Long term.
Long term.
Because the problem is for the Tigers is that... And I know Tigers fans aren't going to hear this. And I will say, yes, you have turned the club around. But let's say the club is exactly where it is in 2-3 years' time. We're talking about generational talent. And he will waste his career if he stays. I'm not just having a crack at the Tigers. Any team that's floating around 11th or 12th for the next 10 years, it's not going to be good for his career.
I heard he's already had a secret meeting with Gus.
Oh, no, Gus doesn't know him. Gus doesn't know who the guy is.
Who? Macca who?
Yeah, no,
McDonald.
He's never heard of him. Yeah. No, so like I think I want to be clear. I do think the Tigers are turning things around.
Yes.
But to keep a guy like Makasini, you've got to be playing finals footy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it actually won't even be about the money. I don't think it'll be about are they playing finals footy, and I hope they do because when you talk like these are the kind of players that can turn a club around.
I hope he has the right manager.
Yeah.
You know who I'm alluding to.
Yeah. Can we work out who his manager is? It's a fait accompli if it's a certain person. Yeah. Look, I just think that I do think that Makasini is one of those guys that you bring through the juniors and he just brings energy to an organisation. There's if he has a great year like we hope he's going to have, then other players be like, you know what, I want to play with that guy. And what's crazy for the Tigers as well, Taylor May. He's also a freak of nature.
How good's Taylor May?
He is a freak. He's a freak. So you've got two freak young fellas in the outside backs.
Yep.
You've got Luai, 4 premierships. Api Coruscant, 3 premierships or 2 premierships. They've just extended Dewey. I will say, listen, I love Dewey re-signing till 27 recently last year. I think it was the right call. I also think it's the right call him starting at 7. Dewey is a clubman. Like, he's the kind of guy I would want around my club. Like, I love the energy he brings. I love how committed he is, how passionate he is.
Yeah.
I cannot understand though why they needed to extend in 2029 when he's already signed till 27. Like, because right now Dewey, he was great last year and he won the 7 jersey, but I doubt there's clubs like he's contracted to 2027. Even if there is clubs circling to sign him,
Yeah. What you might not be thinking about, Kempy, is what he might bring off the field, around the playing group, setting standards in the gym, at training. That could be, it's worth its weight in gold,
but
right?
but like as a club, as a business,
Yep.
you've got time on your side. He's signed till 27.
Right.
Re-sign him next year.
Yeah, I get it.
Like what difference? What more or less are you going to know? Sorry, you will know more in a year's time about where you're at as a club than you'll know right now.
I get what you're saying. I wouldn't say it's a poor decision. He was coming off contract and went on that 4-game run, right? And he earned himself an extension. But it is so important to manage your salary cap that if someone comes onto the market, someone comes out of left field, someone just wants demanding a little bit more money, then they've put themselves in a situation where they should have made maybe a better decision around signing him long term.
See, I agree with it to the 2027. I totally agree with it. As I said, he's a leader in that side. And I believe that next year they will want to extend him. I just don't understand why now. I love that Dewey is re-signed. Now, maybe it's because Dewey and his management said, listen, if you give us till 29, we'll sign on unders.
Yep.
And then the Tigers have gone, you know what? We can get this guy for unders for 5 years. That helps our cap immensely. But yeah, I just was anyway.
Yep.
To the game. Tigers v the Cowboys. Cracking match. I think the attack in this game is going to be outstanding. I cannot wait to see what. I really hope we see the Tigers take another step this year. Like there were periods there last year where you thought maybe top 8, and then they kind of faded away a little bit.
Yep.
Look, the documentary on the weekend, I've been seeing clips from it. Benji giving the standards. You know what I would love just one time is when someone says, you know what, when I was younger, actually. So anyway, the clip is this guy. So basically, Benji's in front of all the players. He said, we've got standards now, and if you don't want to meet the standards, there's the effing door. I remember one time when I was younger at school, and a teacher said to me, and I was talking to someone, and a teacher said to me, no, you just keep talking, and we'll start class when you're ready. So I kept talking.
So what you're pretty much saying is that when Benji said there's a door, get up and walk out that door. Apparently, I didn't see it, but apparently the edit was he said that part, and then Benji walked out. They showed Benji walking out the door. I was like, whoever's your editor, be better. So even Benji's walking out on his own speech.
He's like, I don't even want to be here. I'm out of here now. But listen, I love what they're doing at the Tigers. Especially, I will say this, the fact that they've handled the carnage of last year, like just when you thought everything was going good, then the board stuff happens.
Yeah.
I just think that they've managed to quiet that noise really, really well. I mean, they still have their fullback off contract. That hasn't been very noisy.
Yeah.
I just think that this new version of the Tigers, a few years ago, that noise wouldn't be quiet.
No.
Like it would be disaster after headline after headline after headline. And I just think they deserve a lot of credit, the Tigers. Everyone involved at the Tigers for turning the place around to a degree. Now, hopefully they can take the next step. On to the Cowboys, mate. The thing with the Cowboys is this, and I was there all week in Vegas.
Yep.
I'm getting a little bit concerned that the pressure on everyone there in the coaching staff is leaking into the playing group.
It has to be. It has to be, Kemp. You look at the squad. When a coach is under pressure, right, it wouldn't be a great environment to be around because Todd Payten would be feeling all this, listening to the outside noise. My job's on the line. Training would be intense. And not only that, you've gone to Vegas, you're flying down from North Queensland. I just don't see any real standout leaders. Like, I see player-led with action, but I don't see, I look at that team and go, who's the most vocal in that side?
Well, what's strange is and I know Jason Tamalolo isn't necessarily vocal, but I feel like he's the closest thing to a leader. And as soon as Peyton arrived, he singled him out and pretty much was fall in line.
Yeah.
And it's just been a weird relationship ever since.
Dearden as well. Leads with his actions.
Yep. Who's the talker? Yeah.
Who's bringing the energy? Ruben Cotter. I don't see him as rallying the troops or it's just you've got such a great side. You've got even that young kid, Purdue.
Oh.
They're not living up to the standard of their roster, and it's alarming. It's alarming, and then they've got to go to Leichhardt. But they both flogged each other last year, didn't they?
That's what I mean. It's 13 plus either way, I reckon.
Yeah,
I reckon it's going to be 13 plus either way. Either the Cowboys come out and bounce back in a huge way, or the Tigers come out and it's round one.
Is that
and they're ready to go.
Campbelltown or Leichhardt?
Oh, yeah, Leichhardt. Yeah, it's an inside joke, guys. We had a podcast yesterday and I said that it was at Campbelltown. So don't worry. Last week, Reni Maitua said Para had the blueprint to beat the Melbourne Storm. What an idiot. Who would have tipped the Eels over Storm round one? What idiot.
The blueprint in invisible ink.
Okay, we're going to go to a break after the break. Before we head, though, we've got a couple of quick texts here. Hey, Kempy, what class are you playing? Topping the meters, mate. Love the show. All I do is listen to SEN all day at work. Big fan of your input and morning glory too. Up, Cronulla. And then we actually have another text about that. Hey, Ren and Kempy, listening, doing the lawn at the moment, then going home to raid and top DPS Kempy neckbeard stuff. That's Wacko Jacko the Panther. Mate, I was a rogue. I was a rogue. Got to tier 5 in Burning Crusade. Then I just, then footy career kind of took over. Didn't have as much time, and I got too big for my guild, which was they were called the Ascension. That I got too big for my guild, so a lot of drama there. I'll get into that after the break. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to the Saturday League kickoff, and it's all brought to you by Crust Pizza. From the peri peri chicken and the meat deluxe to the Moroccan lamb crust, do pizza differently. Are you a peri peri man? What are you?
Yeah, I'm a peri peri man. No, actually, I'll go the Moroccan lamb.
Okay.
No, I don't like spice.
Bro, I'm a straight cheese, and I hate people that disrespect cheese pizzas.
Just a straight cheese?
See, I know what you're alluding to. You say it's boring. You say it's just...
Boring.
Yeah, see what I mean? No, it's not boring. It's just simple. That's why they call it simple cheese. I won't take any disrespect. It's a margarita or it's a cheese pizza. That's it.
Wow.
Followed up by a bit of vanilla ice cream, and it's you're living in heaven.
Disappointed me there, Campy.
Dragons back from Vegas head into a Storm. Dragons v the Storm, Saturday 5:30 p.m. Wynn Stadium. Same starting side for the Dragons. Blake Laurie joins the bench, and Kamikamitha comes in for lock. Alec McDonald. Hetherington joins the bench, most likely for his debut for the Storm, but I guess we'll see what happens. I think that this is actually going to be a bit of a gritty affair, but I do think Storm get the chockies. Like I know Dragons beat them last year, but I got a feeling Storm are going to start the first 10 rounds extremely well. The more questions I have around the Storm is when they get to the business end and that next step gets taken, what happens there? I don't know whether they will or they won't take that step. I'm just saying I think so much has gone against the Storm in the off season, and some self-inflicted, some not. That they've got such a big chip on their shoulder. I think their first 10 games are going to be tough to beat.
I think what you saw from the Storm, especially around the Zach Lomax situation, was that they went against the narrative of we are this club that you want. It just seemed unusual trying to chase someone who'd left 2 clubs, right? So, but then you see what Suafar Longall brought to that side, and it's I've no disrespect to Paps, but Sewer just brings a whole new dynamic. There's points around him, right? Dragons, very good defensively, scrambled well. They just don't have the strike, I believe, to be able to get on top of the Storm side.
Do you think that the Dragons will try, or we know they will, do you think they can drag the Storm down into the mud?
That's the thing that's what I've said about the Dragons last year, and I've been big on, is that they drag teams down to their level, right? And you've been in situations where, I for mine, no disrespect to the Tigers back in the day, but we had a team that would beat them by 30 or 40 on a given day, but we'd always just have these close games with teams with a lesser roster. And I feel like the Dragons are that side that can make you make errors, make you not really stick to a game plan. So
Sharkies used to be that side for us.
Yeah.
They just, for some reason, you go to Shark Park and just get dragged into this dogfight. And you go, what the hell's going on here?
I expect this.
Yeah, like I expected. We just free-flowing footy, have a bit of fun. Yeah, we win 13.
My jeans are packed. Yeah. Probably nice shoes. And then you're in a dogfight and you're too sore.
Yeah. So, look, with the Dragons, I really admired what they did in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like, they had no right to be in that game on paper heading into it. I really thought, look, I did pick the Bulldogs 1-12 only because I know the Dragons are that team that will drag you down. But on paper, we're talking about Bulldogs who you could argue by the end of the year are challenging for a premiership against Dragons, who a lot of people have bottom 4. And they somehow, some way, round 1 in Vegas, were a few tough calls away from a win.
Outside of the half situation, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. What do you think they're missing?
I think they're missing a guy like Keon for sure.
Yeah.
I think that you look at the Couchman brothers, and I think they're going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think adding Keon into the mix is exactly what they need. Probably outside backs as well.
Yeah.
They could if they could. I know Val is still there, but he is a bit older.
Yep.
But if you could jag another young gun.
Like Gutho is getting on in age. He's not the quickest fullback. He is your inspirational.
He's the heart of the whole side.
Sloane's still there.
I think, he's still there. Look, I think with Sloane, I think that the too much water on the bridge now.
Yeah.
I think both, not all divorces are bad divorces.
Yeah.
And I just think it'd be better for Sloane, it'd be better for the Dragons for him to try because they've tried with him and he's had good moments and he's tried with them and it just hasn't seemed to work. They've tried fullback, they've tried wing. And I just think new club, fresh start would probably be the best. So if they could find... Now, I know Tui Pelotu. They've got Tui Pelotu there who is...
The money maker?
Yep. The money maker, yes, absolutely. He did the money maker in Vegas too, which was hilarious.
Did he do it?
Yeah, he did it. No, in the fan day.
Okay.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Okay.
Mate. And so I reckon a really gun... Because the young forward pack is great.
Yeah.
Is really good. You add Keon to that, and then you get a really young gun outside back that's a game breaker that can almost take over the mantle of... Because I like Moses Sully. I really do like him as a player.
There's a footballer in him.
If you get a young gun that's a game breaker, like a big rangy winger that can score points or something like that, that's probably the two areas outside of the halves that they need to kind of go for it. Now, Sloane is in reserves this week for the reserve player this week for the Dragons. Now, in regards to the Storm, it's weird, like, they're becoming one of my more exciting teams to watch because they play such exciting footy. Especially round 1. I just thought they were the showstoppers round 1. They were outstanding.
And you backed Para. I backed Para.
No, I didn't back Para, mate.
Look.
AI. That was AI.
That was AI.
AI slot.
Look, the Storm, it is that next man up mentality. They seem to just get to that hurdle in the semi-final where they just don't have that game breaker. But what I saw from them last week, they started the season well. Jerome Hughes, the spine, Harry Grant taking his opportunities. There's so much threat across the park. Is it Lasati, the back row?
Him and Chan. Yeah. Wow.
You've got Katoa out for the rest of the year, and then these guys step up and say, "All right, no, he's out. I'm gonna fill that void.
Yep.
And I'm gonna play aggressive and be that back rower for you this year."
I just got a text here. Dragons must go after Purdue, Kempy, mate. I agree. I think Purdue would be exactly what they need, a game breaker, points. Now, Purdue definitely needs to work on his defence, but every rookie needs to work on the defence. That's a natural progression. You got another text here, guys. Love the show. Intelligent, engaging, entertaining, footy analysis, treating the game, players and listeners with respect. Reni is a media talent. Good work, Jim. Oh, there you go, mate. Thanks, mate. That's Jim. Jimbo.
Mum, is that you, mate? Thanks, Jim.
Purdue off contract at the end of 26, so he actually is free to go, really, next year. Interesting, I think that the fact he hasn't re-signed suggests there is, like, basically Peyton is on a knife's edge right now.
He's definitely on a knife's edge.
Yeah.
How long do you give him?
I give him to round 10, probably.
Who's the assistant coach? Dean Young? Is he there? No.
Dean Young is a good shout, though. I rate Dean Young as a coach. But let's get into the next game. It's the game of the round, or allegedly, that's what it puts here in the notes. I don't know if I agree, but I'll just say game of the round in Bathurst. Panthers v the Sharkies. 7:35 p.m. Carrington Park in Bathurst. No Liam Martin. Jenkins gets a start after last week's double. Mate,
Milky.
The White Buffalo. Same 19 for Craig Fitzgibbon. Listen, I've sat there all week. Each morning I wake up and meditate for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I
levitate.
I levitate, I meditate, I negotiate the day. And I've been trying to get myself up and pumped for a Sharkies win.
Yeah.
Because they were so good in round 1.
Yeah.
But against the Penny Panthers, there's just too much history of the Panthers giving it to them. I just can't do it.
this is an indication of where the Sharks really are. All right, so you played against a Titans team, but
essentially a New South Wales Cup side, like as in they played like one.
Yeah,
individually they're not. Obviously, there's much better players than I ever was, but as a team they played to the standard of New South Wales Cup.
This is where I want. Your Sharks have always had the ability to knock off the bigger teams. They always do a job on the lower tier teams. I don't care if they win or lose. I want to see them compete against the potential favourites, right? I want to see if Nico stands up, how Trindle plays this week. Do their forwards match him? There's so many question marks around the Sharks, and I really believe, honestly, that this is a pivotal year for someone like Nico. Fitzgibbon needs to make a decision on his halves pairing, or you can't just keep making the top four, make a prelim and be happy, because it's been 3 years in a row.
I will say you are sitting next to the biggest Sharks glazer in rugby league.
Okay.
See, I agree this year is the year, and you can even look at their contracts right now. Even the Sharks think this year is the year because a lot of the players are coming off contract this year. And so, but I will say, like, they built from, so when Fitzy took over, they were 9th or 10th.
Yep.
They went top four at first year. They're essentially being top four, but basically the first 2 years get bounced out of the finals. Lost, gone, lost, gone, or lost, gone.
Yeah.
Then they go prelim.
Yep.
Like I think that's a solid natural progression. I don't subscribe to the idea that they've just been they just made the top four each year. I actually think that they've gotten better each time. And I understand that when you look at them and you go, can they win the comp though? Like when the big dance arrives, do they actually have what it takes? Yeah, I'm with you. Like that question is yet to be answered. But I feel like
they've got a really solid team, and they didn't have anyone in Origin last year. So, they got through that. They lost during the Origin period without
having crazy.
But there's just something I can't identify.
I'm with you.
I don't know what it is because they've got enough strike. You've got Fanua Blake. You've got Brayley at 9. Like there is enough there to win a competition, but there's just something that needs to change. I don't know if even Fitzy needs to innovate or create some sort of new attacking method, but they're just a solid team to me.
Yeah. I think when you consider how small of a club they are, the resources they have, what their team is on paper compared to these other top tier sides, I actually think they fight above their weight a lot of the time. Okay. But I am in the same boat as when I try to push myself into, okay, grand final's about to happen. One team has Nathan Cleary, Dylan Edwards, Isaiah Yeo, Tungall can't even make the bloody side.
Yep.
The other team, good, like definitely underrated backline, solid spine, but I'm not sitting there going, there's a bunch of superstars in the side,
Yeah, there's no fear factor that I see.
Whereas like you look at Storm, superstars.
Yeah.
You look at Broncos, superstars.
Yeah.
And so that's probably, you look at Roosters as well, Rabbitohs as well. And so that's where it's a double-edged sword. I think they're punching above their weight, but I also think they need to find either an extra gear or recruit one more time to be able to go another level. Now, I think if I had to specifically, I think it needs to be Kennedy that has that extra gear.
Yes.
Kennedy and Trindle, they're the key for me. I think with Hines, like, I think...
Year 7 or 1?
I think that Fitzy's done a good enough job. I don't think he's a 1 anymore. He's a bit older now.
Yep.
But I think Fitzy's done a good enough job with their roles and that. I just think it's either Trindle or Kennedy that needs to take that next step, and it's probably Kennedy. Because right now, when I compare all the other fullbacks that make the grand finals, they're either Origin or close to Origin, whereas Kennedy is not really close to Origin at this stage and hasn't been for a while. If he can take that little next step and go up another level, because like for example, what their run at the back end of the season last year, what was it? It was Brayley going to another level. We hadn't seen Brayley do that before, and so if he can keep that up, whilst also Bolden Trindle also continues to do what he's doing, that might be it.
I feel like Kennedy gives you a good 7.5 every week, 8. Like he's maybe just lacking that little bit of speed, but he's reliable.
Yeah, he's reliable. Yep.
Even like Idle, like he's gone to another level.
He's a gun.
Year. Defensively, like there's your little bit of strike on the edge.
Yep.
Jesse Ramian, when he turns
Mulatalo. Yep.
Katoa on the wing. They've got the side.
Yeah.
But there's something missing.
I'm with you.
I can't identify it right now. But
yeah.
They're just a good, solid team.
Yep. Yep, I'm with you. Now, I've got a text here. Sharks can't win the comp with that back row. So, Niokota and probably Wilton at full strength. And then you got Billy Burns can play 13. Calhoun, you've got McGuinness. Again, like, Niokota, he's obviously top tier or top-ish tier, like close to the top tier, actually. Yep. Outside of that, though, yeah, you've got these like good, solid first graders, but are they Jacob Preston and Kickow? Are they Hudson Young and young gun Noel Martin or Zach Hosking or Matt Nicholson?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the Sharkies with the Panthers, mate. I'm red hot. I'm red hot on the Panthers. I actually don't even think they played close to their best on the last weekend, and they still towed the Broncos up.
I agree, and for them to turn up and just strangle you and just like they do everything. They do the small things well. They fight on the ground, numbers in tackles, they retreat fast, they get to their points, they kick to a corner. They have time. Like they put you under pressure.
Constantly.
You know, and then when it's time to pull the trigger, they pull the trigger.
Yep. When you watch them play, they have become so set in their ways. Like the non-negotiables, like we talk about non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Ironically, they're always negotiated, and a lot of the time, people don't do them. That's why we call them that. Like these are the non-negotiables. These are the small things.
Yep.
With the Panthers, it's like it's not even like I never watch a Panthers game and go that was lazy.
Yeah, he didn't fill the space.
He didn't fill the space there. Wow, why is he walking off the line?
Yeah.
Games on the line. I never like they are so set in stone that it's almost second nature. What you have to say to other teams that, mate, that's a non-negotiable. They don't even have the conversation about non-negotiable. It's just there.
Doesn't even cross their mind. Their body just moves.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Even Isaiah Yeo, right? Like I watched him last week. He is such a problem. And look, he's played at the highest level for a long time, but I watch him play, and I'm thinking as a defender, he'll get up, he'll skip over to your B and C defender. He's got the pass option. If he decides to run, it takes 4 guys to get him down.
Well, I think he's a front rower in rep footy because that's how strong he is in contact.
Yeah. Well, I've nearly got him on par with Cleary in terms of the importance of that team.
Yeah, I mean,
you take Yowie out of that side, right?
It's almost 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think Yowie, because he's so, and also you could argue rep career-wise, Cleary and Yo haven't had their huge series yet.
Yeah.
Because the whole system, we can get into Origin talk later in the year.
Yeah.
But I think that Isaiah Yeo, he has to be up there with one of the greatest 13s the game has seen. It's just because he doesn't do the flashy stuff that we've seen from other 13s.
He just creates so many problems for defence.
Yeah. And when you watch it closely and you see defence line, they rush up, he's got the ball in 2 hands. A lot of other 13s, most of the time they're not going to pass the ball. Whereas Yo, it's a 50-50 call whether he's going to pass the ball or not pass the ball.
Yeah.
And because you've got so much movement around Yo and they're so fit and they all hit their marks, there's always options around him as well.
As an edge defender, from me, as a 4-man defender, when he's skipping towards me,
nightmare stuff.
I'm like, if my middles aren't filling the space here, I'm going to have to turn in. Then he passes out the back and they skin you on the edge.
Yep.
So,
you know what he does? Every time he runs the ball, he tests the trust of the defense.
Yes, he does.
Like, how much do you trust your inside man? Because I'm going to make you make a call here. So that's Isaiah Yeo. We're going to head to a break. This is the Saturday League kickoff with Denan and Reni. Give us a call, 1300 01 1170 or text 0457 736 736. Coming live to you on SEN and simulcast live in studio on Fox League and KO.
An odds update brought to you by PointsBet.
What's gambling really costing you?
Hey guys, it's Woodsy here, and I've got the same game multi for this weekend and starts off tonight thanks to PointsBet for the Penrith and Cronulla Sharks playing at Bathurst, a lovely country ground. We're going to go with Cronulla Sharks with the start of 6.5 into points under 43.5. 2 great defensive sides on top of the table. I'm going to go with my man, Paul Alamotti, the man with one of the greatest rigs in the NRL. And that same game multi is $12.55 thanks to PointsBet. And tomorrow's huge game, Brookvale Oval, Manly Seagulls come up against Newcastle Knights. We know Seabold's under a bit of pressure at the moment. But I'm going to go Manly minus the start with 4.5. I'm going to go points over 49.5. And the big one, Tommy Turbo, anytime try score. Look, it's only $4.71 that one. But Manly do need that win to get off the bottom of the table. Make sure you gamble responsibly and enjoy and get on the Woodsy same game multi thanks to PointsBet.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
This is the Saturday League kickoff with Reni and Denan. Crust Pizza, real ingredients, unforgettable flavours, large pizzas from $15. T's and C's apply. Got some texts here. Morning, Reni and Kempy. I was puzzled while I'm watching the post and pre-game show on Fox, which had Adam Reynolds as a guest host. If I was Madge Maguire, I wouldn't have let this happen. He picked up a rib injury and couldn't finish the game, then was allowed to fly to Sydney. Shouldn't the club have stepped in and said it's not happening? It's your thoughts. So a rib injury that he's got cartilage, it doesn't matter what you do. It's not going to increase how quickly it recovers. However, if it was a different injury like a soft tissue or other ones where recovery and everything like that can speed up the recovery, that is why he would have been allowed to go, bro. Newcastle and the Tigers have upset the Panthers in Bathurst over the last 3 seasons. That is true. I'll never forget that torrential rain. The Tigers came out and did them. Api Coruscant killed it. Sharky here. Kennedy is really good, but I feel like we need a strike fullback to win the comp. Cheers. Great show. Yeah, and it's hard because you sound like you're being negative on Kennedy, but you're not. He's a good first grader.
Great first grader.
It just, the team isn't set up where they can afford to have just a good fullback. And maybe, I will say, he's a lot more classy than he gets credit for. And maybe he does take another step. But I think my key point is he does need to take another step.
Well, you look at the best teams in the competition, right? You got KO Weeks, Lightning. Reece Walsh, Lightning.
Yep.
Tedesco, all the best fullbacks bring something different. Kennedy, we're not shitting on him. He's just a good, solid fullback.
Yep.
And then that's what the Sharks are missing is that strike, that someone that's going to put fear into a defence.
I will say, I've seen moments of the next gear is in him. Just can he do it week in, week out? That's the thing.
Yeah, I agree, but he does all the fundamentals of a fullback right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good under the high ball, good support player. Maybe just that little bit too small to take those carries on the fourth or fifth to get that quick play of the ball. But yeah, look, Sharkies, solid team, very solid, but they're just missing that little bit of strike.
One of the greatest stadium names of all time, Ocean Protect Stadium. What is doing? Only just tuning in. Here's another text. Only just tuning in, but how good is to hear Reni on SEN? Geez, you're a star today, Reni. Wow.
Mum again, texting in.
Oh, man, I might lose my job. Thanks to both of you for a great morning of talking footy. You got yourselves a new listener/viewer. Cheers, Con. Thanks, mate. Thank you. Morning, fellas. Raiders tragic here. Just want to take my hat off to the Warriors. They absolutely dominated the Raiders last night in the last 20 minutes. Ruben from Brizzy. Yeah, I think they were outstanding. Lads looking phenomenal. Thanks, mate. Para to win the comp. I've seen enough. Okay. I don't know if I can trust your judgment now. Do we actually really look phenomenal?
I took Para to wooden spoons. I hope they...
Did you tip Para for a spoon?
No, I played for Para. Got
okay. Oh, my God.
So
wow.
I'd love to see Para win a comp.
Okay, now Manly to bounce back from Golden Point heartbreak, ? Seagulls versus the Knights, Sunday, 4:05 p.m, 4 Pines Park. Huge game for both teams. Now, Knights obviously get off to a fast start. They looked great last week. I think Seagulls, I'm not going to sit here and say it's a do-or-die game, but when you look at where they're at as a club and you look at how important wins at home are, because Brookie is a tough place to go, they can't afford to go 0-2 at home, because then let's say they've got, we'll just say 10 games at home this year. They've probably got a little bit less, but let's say it's 10 games at home. You lose your first 2. Now you've got 8. Let's say you lose. You know what I mean? It starts adding up.
Well.
So it's not a do or die game, but geez, you don't want to be 0-2 from your first game at home.
Looking at Vegas and what they did in the first 20 minutes, Newcastle. With the Fletcher Sharp, Dylan Brown, KP, that combination, that was threat everywhere. Justin Holbrook, I played with the Dogs in 02, a very, very intelligent coach. Fletcher Sharp, for me, being out is a concern. I think there's more desperation in this Eagles side this week. Paseka, coming back from, he had most of the year off last year.
He's pretty good last week too.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Olakuatu, Kohler, Gunn. I think it's a big ask for Newcastle.
Right, how good is Kohler?
He's unbelievable.
It probably doesn't get spoken about enough because Manly have been struggling, but he is truly one of the best strike centers in the comp.
And I think he's realising how good he is now. So even when he came over to the right edge and took that inside ball and he dropped it when they were trying to chase points, that is a centre who is identifying how good he is as a player. They're centering their attack around his strike. and he's only going to get better. Like the way he moves is just phenomenal.
Well, wasn't his parents also phenomenal? You're a rapper, Eminem. Now, wasn't his parents Olympians?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so he is truly could Collar be in the orange? Oh, look, I think Origin conversation.
I'll put you off with that.
Yeah. I think look, I can have him in the convo. The only problem is they're so stacked for centers. You got Turbo if he's fit because he actually played well on the weekend. Looks good to go. You got Charlie Mitt. You got Bradman Best. You got Crichton. You've got Staggs. No, I actually think Collar is playing better than Staggs. But I think he should be in the combo. But I think it's going to be
you
tough
bring
to
him
break
into
in.
the squad.
Yeah,
you bring him into the squad and just prep him for the next couple of years.
I actually think Collar suits Origin. Like if you're just looking at the style of footy players more than a lot of other players, because Origin's all about speed.
Yeah,
and I think that's been the biggest issue for the Blues over the last few years is that they're too reliant on trying to do the Penrith system, which is all about getting to points, fatigue.
Shape doesn't win you. Origin games.
Speed does, and then you look at the Queensland side, all their outside backs fast as anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, with Collar outstanding. Now back to Manly. Now Tokiaho is injured.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where Lafai is. I apologize, I'm saying that incorrectly. He's a young guy, 18 years old. He's a forward. Now, granted, I get he's a rookie. You don't want to rush him, but do you bring him in? Do you He's in the reserves, but do you start to introduce him sooner rather than later? Did you get a chance to see his trial form by any chance?
You see that
really big body.
I thought he was really good. You've got to you got to bring a point of difference, right? And it doesn't mean he needs to play massive minutes. They got enough in that side for like Olakwa to Gerbo, all these players to play big minutes that you can bring him in for 10, 15 minutes, get him into the contact and get him used to the speed and this first grade system because he could be the difference for him.
Yeah.
Don't wait till halfway through the season.
You can't afford to.
No. I'd bring him in.
So we've got it's 12 home games Manly have. It's 12 home games they have this season.
Yeah. Well, if they win the next 11, they're in the 8.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Simeone Laiafi. Apologies, I've been told how to say it correctly. I just can't remember, so sorry. 13 games for Jersey Flegg last year, just here. Australian schoolboys prop as well. Now, in regards to Manly, the Jake Trbojevic situation. First of all, that headgear, that's a situation for you.
Magneto.
But I just think with Jakey, legend of the game in regards from a Manly perspective, legend of a bloke.
Mm-hmm.
For me, he's a front rower. For me, you get him on there for 20 minutes, go hard, and you get him off. I just don't know whether physically he's the same man as he was a few years ago, and he should be playing as many minutes as he is.
He's put his body through a lot, hence why he's got an airbag on his head. But he, I saw points of his game last week where I thought maybe it's the game's just getting ahead of him a little bit too much. Is it who's the back rower? Not for more.
Ben Trbojevic.
No, the other powerhouse, Bullymore.
Bullymore, yeah. So he came from Broncos a few years ago. So he's in the middle. Not necessarily. You got Waddell, Ben Trbojevic. You've got Kobe Hetherington, Bullymore that can play through the middle.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think they might be playing him too big a minutes.
Yeah, I would be putting Hetherington in at 13 for more minutes than I would be Jake Trbojevic.
Really?
Well, I just think with Jakey, I just think that his body where it is at right now, with how much he's put his body on the line for that club, 20 minutes of your best, mate, and then we can take you off.
Yeah.
Take this thing out of the game because your defence, at least your contact is good. I think laterally sometimes he can get found out. And we take you off, and then we can see how the game goes.
Yeah.
Bring Kobe Hetherington fast through the middle. Had an incredible grand final performance.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see what happens there. And also, you've already taken the captaincy essentially, not off him, but you've given it to Tom. So it's not even like he's the captain. Tommy Turbo's the captain. Gave him to him in a car park. Okay. The Dolphins v the Titans, 6:15. Look, I've spoken about this all week. I think the Titans are going to get absolutely pumped. So that means I'm actually going to pick the Titans.
Okay, so a bit of reverse.
It's opposite day because anytime I get around the Titans and say they're going to go well, they go bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to get pumped. So I'm going to secretly tip them.
I can't tip them after last week's performance. I see too much strike in that Dolphins side, I really like the fact that Plath and Ray Stone have been named on the bench. You've got Flegler, you got Gilbert, you've got a really strong pack, right? That can really overwhelm the Titans. But then you bring in the Hammer, Katoa, Herbie Farnworth.
Yeah.
It's just too much strike. I just don't think the Titans can compete with them. Selwyn Cobbo.
Yeah, the problem with the Dolphins is they play dumb sometimes. Like they've got this gun side on paper, but then they get caught up in silly errors, silly penalties. Their defense has been a massive problem for them for a while. Like I know
They looked good in the trials, and then it just went away against the Sharks.
It's just their defense. They just got to sort their defense. Their attack is outstanding.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to worry about there. Just their defense has been an issue. They scored the most points last year, the Dolphins.
Did they? Okay,
Yeah.
well, and you bring someone in like Josh Hannay in. He's done his apprenticeship for so long. The most.
Sorry, did I say the Titans? The Dolphins scored the most points.
Yes,
last
they
year.
did.
Yeah.
They did. The frustrating thing for me with the Titans is their pathways. Right, they've got the whole of Queensland, and every kid seems to go to either the Broncos or the Storm. Right, this is a club that's been struggling for so long. Josh Hannay is a person that'll get them to where they need to be, but it's going to take time. It's going to take off. It's going to take maybe a lot of time.
I am shocked at how poor they looked in round one. Like I couldn't believe what I was watching. Genuinely, like I didn't expect them. I picked the Sharkies to win. I just couldn't. Like when you look at that team on paper, we're not talking about the Eels round one last year. On paper, they got Origin players throughout it.
Yeah, the only thing I'll give them a pass, not a pass. The scoreline was bad. They did play bad. But it was a tough ask to go to Shark Park and play the Sharks at home.
I'll give you a stat here. They were down 34-0 or something first half. Yeah. Now, I bet you assume that they had all 6 against them, penalties against them, no possession. They had the same amount of possession as the Sharkies. They had more penalties for them as the Sharkies, and they were still down 34-0. They had basically I think there was like a 400 or 500 meter difference in run meters.
Yeah, wow.
That's concerning.
Maybe they read too much into the Titan, into their trial form. Zane Harrison.
Yeah, I like him. He's in reserve grade this year, week.
But how long?
Well, it just depends with Campbell.
He just brought something different. You know, he's like a Matt Orford type build.
Yeah, okay.
But there's a footballer in him. You know, I just think if it gets ugly after 5 rounds, you got to try something. And Zane Harrison, I think he's the best half. Well, potentially the best half of the club.
Really, better than Campbell, Jaden Campbell.
I don't think Campbell's a half.
Okay. So you'd be going Campbell to 6, Brimo to centre.
Oh, it's just a confusing sort of halves combination because Brimo's I think he's a fullback. Right?
He's a gun fullback.
Yeah.
But Kinney's so good.
That's what they've got too many people in the wrong positions. They can play. They've got too many fullbacks playing in wrong positions.
See, I felt like they've worked that out. Like I feel like they've worked that out. I do think Jaden Campbell's turned into a 7 now. He was injured last week, obviously. But anyway, this is the Saturday League kickoff with Denan and Reni. All thanks to Crust Pizza, real ingredients, unforgettable flavours. Last chance to text 0457 736 736. Get involved. Get amongst it. This is the Saturday League kickoff. This is the Saturday League kickoff, and it's all thanks to Crust Pizza, real ingredients, unforgettable flavours. Got 1,000 texts to get to, guys. Hello, gents. I'll forgive Reni for 2004 because he's been great this morning. I thought Rob Toy was great in defence last night, considering it was his first hit out. Also, I mentioned Sua Wong, 41 tackles. Outstanding stuff. Did nor Sam Walker for Queensland to win the series. It's obviously Dearden, guys. Come on. Like Sammy Walker's super talented, but Dearden has dominated Origin.
He'll get there eventually.
Yeah. They'll pick Tom for game 1, but who would you pick, Denan? Oh, Denham. I would definitely be like Dearden has dominated Origin. Like I don't even think it's a question. I mean, it is a question. I just read it out, but like I don't think it's a selected question. NRL teams go to Mudgee, Bathurst, Gosford. What about Titans bring a game up to second biggest inland city in Australia, Toowoomba? Get on the phone to Matty John. Say, mate, up to Toowoomba, please. Okay, Hetherington is a whole running forward that the Broncos need. Great signing for the Manly. Really rate him, Andrew from Narrabeen. And Morning Beacon, 6 foot Reni.
6'1".
Allegedly?
6'1".
6 foot, he reckons. Listen, I reckon.
I know where
fake
this
news.
is coming
Mate,
from.
it's a bit of fake news going around here. Oh my God.
6'1" Maitua.
Mate, you're 6'1" on stilts, maybe.
5'13".
How bad is the set restart epidemic?
Yeah.
The refs are waving six again for the most minor indiscretions. Tinfoil hat theory. This causes teams to get a roll on, resulting in fatigued defenders and blights, giving the NRL leverage to implement the optional kickoff rule. That's from Chalk. Okay, a bit of conspiracy theories there. You're a big conspiracy guy, mate.
I am a flat earther.
Just like that 6'1" number is a conspiracy.
Well, before I had the double groin reconstruction, I was 6'2".
Oh, come on now. All righty, guys, coming up next on SEN, Crunch Time with Sean and Blake Gosson live from Leichhardt Oval. Make sure to tune in, and thanks for listening. We really do appreciate it.